I'm gonna take a picture real quick to put on Instagram. Everybody give a smile.
Why did that happen?
Sweet. Cool.
What's up, everybody?
Hello, everyone. So good to see everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful week. I am noticing already we did. What's up, guys? First of all, Luke and Will.
What's up, man?
Awesome to have you guys here.
Just tweeting out some links right now on Instagram and Facebook and all that. I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Spreading the word.
Will, you are you're traveling around right now.
Yeah, I'm in Tokyo. So if there's a bit of this is hilarious. I paid to be in this private booth in this little workshop, and it's supposed to be for web conferencing, but there's like all this noise, there's constant ventilation. It's actually not ideal. So hopefully it works out well. How do I sound?
What's the place called? What's the address?
Maybe another maybe I'll tell you after stream. I
just want to go see Will right now.
Hey, you wouldn't be the first person to dox Will.
It's true. It's happened before. I got ops in Tokyo, so I'm just
gang.
Gang.
Man, it's exciting today. I'm all pumped up about Greece, guys. I know y'all are too. We got the we're running. We dropped the special today. The tour company is doing a special, so we dropped a special that's running through Thursday, and that's what we're going to be getting into today. Is the is Greece stuff. But I wanted to see, Luke. Did you see today the shooting that happened?
I did at Teotihuacan. Yeah. I think it was. Well, for Mike and I on the western side of the planet. It was yesterday afternoon at Teotihuacan. Some dude was up on top of the, I think the Pyramid of the Moon, or maybe the Pyramid of the Sun. And he was. There's a video taken from the top of the pyramid. He was basically saying, either in Spanish or in English. I haven't heard the video, but I read the transcript. He was telling the people. He was like, yeah, you effing Europeans up here taking your stupid photos. This pyramid was built for sacrificing people. If you try to move, I'm going to sacrifice you. You're never going home back to Europe. Blah, blah, blah.
A Canadian woman died. It looks like a Canadian woman was killed.
Yeah. So a true Teotihuacano was on top of that pyramid, I guess. Good Lord.
Yeah. I've been there 3 times now. That hits home. That's wild.
That's so scary. That's so sad.
What's never mind. I don't even want to. Never mind. It's just that bothers me that it had to do with Europeans, and a lot of Mexican ancestry is European. It's just like, so get rid of the hate. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's Canadian woman died. It looks like. I did not know about this.
It's wild. They shut down. You used to be able to walk to the top of the pyramids. I was lucky enough to be able to do that before they shut it down during COVID. And as far as I know, they hadn't opened it up again. So I don't know. Either they opened it up or he just.
I think it was just reopened. I feel like I remember somebody texting me recently, being like, "We have to go back to Teotihuacan because they opened up the walking up the pyramids."
So he shot her up there. Then in my mind, when you said that, I'm like, well, you can't go up there. So he must have been up there just sniping people, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's only 2 dead, a bunch wounded, and the 2 that were dead included the woman and himself, I believe.
This is weird.
Yeah, they always take themselves out, right? They never want to experience the consequences of what they've done.
Well, look at these people. Just dilly-dallying around. There's like an active shooter, and they're just like, da-da-da.
Wait. Oh, this is a lie. Yeah, let's watch this.
Yeah, he was shooting, and people are just like,
Look at these people.
And it looks like there's not people in the pyramid. It looks like it was at the base.
Look at all these people down here crouching, hiding.
No, there's several people up there.
It's kind of wild to me in scenarios like this, people's lack of preservation instincts a lot of times, which
Yeah.
I'm not saying about these people, but you see other people that are just kind of like strolling by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
look at this too.
I saw a comment on Reddit. This guy was like, I was up there just 5 minutes before this happened, and I was down by the concession stands, and it was so weird to look around. He was like, I instantly knew it was a shooter, and there were people like eating their ice cream and eating snacks, just looking around, trying to get
Yeah,
it.
I think that's this comment right here.
A lot of people don't know what gunshots sound like. Like a lot of people have never even heard a gunshot before.
Yeah.
That's very true,
It's
actually.
true.
I don't even, think about that.
They don't always have the boom that you expect. It's more like a cracking sound.
It's a crack. It's a crack, especially in a place like Teotihuacan. It's going to crack for sure. Like with all the, the wide, it's going to be a cracking sound. Yeah, that's so sad. It's always a Canadian in Mexico. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's
Has
like
that
when I was
happened before?
when I was in Puerto Escondido, a Canadian was murdered there. And then when I was in another place, it was a Canadian, which is crazy because Canada has a low population compared to the States, but they love going to Mexico. So there's a lot of them that go down there because their winters are just so harsh. But anyways, not to make it morbid, but it's always like,
am I crazy, or was it a Canadian lady that walked up Chichen Itza a few years ago and was like twerking on the pyramid?
There was a lady that did that, yeah.
Yeah, I think she was Canadian. I could be wrong.
And Sammy's gonna find it.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's they don't get that vitamin D that much. So when they get down to Mexico, it makes them do things they wouldn't normally do.
When they get down there, they're vitamin D, deficient, and so all of a sudden they just start wilding out. Their hormones are going crazy. They're finally getting that vitamin D. Just kidding to all the Canadians out there. I love my Canadian brothers. I got several Canadian friends. They're cool.
Yeah, dude.
The ones out in Alberta and Saskatchewan, and love those dudes.
Yeah, my best friend lives in northern Newfoundland, in Gander. And sometimes, man, we'll be talking about Canada, and I'll be looking on Google Earth at Canada, and I'm like, your whole country just sits on top of ours. Like, it has to be so cold up there.
Yep, it's freezing. I grew up watching Trailer Park Boys back in my teenage years, and I've always wanted to go to Nova Scotia, live out some nostalgic Trailer Park Boy memories.
Nova Scotia's dope.
I bet it is.
I liked Halifax. Halifax has a star fort, and that's where I went and looked at that place that looked like there were ancient ruins up there.
Oh yeah,
Kriegler's in the house.
Mike, you've been everywhere, man. You have been everywhere. What up, Kriegler?
Hey, speaking of going everywhere, if anybody is interested in the comments or you guys, the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles are closing until 2030, starting this summer.
Whoa.
If you ever wanted to go see it, you should go see it.
I've never seen them before.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, this thing I'm doing with this company I've been talking to you guys about, I've been using a lot of, I guess, sources from the La Brea tar pits, and it's pretty interesting. So I'm going to try to go see it this summer. I'd love to.
Public, Luke, or can we not talk about the details?
No, it's not public yet.
Okay, no worries. Just making sure.
But yeah, and that and Alaskan Boneyard. I really want to go up there too.
Me too.
I know Mike's been there.
Mike's been.
Dope spot. Yeah. It's crazy what he's doing up there. It's amazing. It's just stuff falling out. Being able to put your hand on the layer of permafrost is wild.
Special.
Just see it all exposed in a layer on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. Yeah. Found a mammoth tooth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what's
awesome.
so cool about paleontology versus archaeology is that paleontology is a lot of it is being pushed forward by independent people, like independent organizations and companies, because it's not so heavily regulated like archaeology is.
Because they're not humans. Is that why? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that would be my
there's no NAGPRA.
Yeah, that would be my guess because if you see it on Facebook all the time, like I'll see reels. Most of my reels are people finding, extinct animal remains or something like.
Yeah.
There will be guys walking through these shallow rivers, picking up these buffalo skulls, like these ancient prehistoric animals, finding saber-toothed cat skulls and just all kinds of stuff here in North America. They pick it up and just take it home and clean it off and study it themselves. But I mean, if you found a Clovis point and you took that thing home with you, they're going to throw you in the gulag or fine you.
Which is crazy. A Clovis point is too much for me. I get like I feel like there needs to be a weight limit. I feel like if you find a Clovis point, there are millions of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you find a Clovis point, I feel like you should be able to take that. Maybe controversial opinion. Now, if you find a full pot out there, yeah, like that's different. But yeah, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I kind of just feel like I know this is totally irrelevant from the Greece topic, but with all that, I feel like if you're not, let's say, I think that there should be something that's like designated ancestral lands. Say you're at this national park or something like that. Say you're at Mogollon National Park, like I was at.
Yeah.
Maybe you classify everything as being a part of this sacred land and you're not supposed to touch it or leave it. But if you're at a place that's not like that, or if you're, out at some lake or something like that, and you're standing next to the lake where it kind of washes away and you find a point on the ground, it's preposterous that it should be illegal to pick that thing up because you're not doing anything. It's just going to disappear into time. And every little artifact that gets picked up, if it gets taken to somebody's house, people aren't just going to treat it like trash or throw it in the trash today. It'll be preserved and taken care of, and eventually it will end up in the right hands or in some official hands if it needs to be.
For sure.
All you're doing is pulling the history out of the ground and then preserving it. So
yeah.
Well, and if you have if you keep that in your family, you have kids, you have nieces, nephews, whatever, and then they grow up around these artifacts, it's super cool for kids to see that up close and get to handle all that. That's I think what inspires kids to grow up to become actual archaeologists.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like if I were to go out to it's just the whole idea is dumb, because if I were to go out to Turkey and I were to find some 6,000-year-old arrowhead, the local Turkish people can't be like, oh, that's my ancestral heritage. You're not supposed to touch that, because the people that were in Turkey 6,000 years ago migrated west and actually ended up in Scotland. The reason I know that is because I traced my DNA. That's how my ancestors work. So actually, those are my ancestors. It's the same way in the Americas. If you pick up an archaic point that dates back to 4,000 BC, just because it's found in that one region, the local it's not even their heritage. It's just the span of time is so ridiculously large. It's like if you're there in front of it and you're amazed by it, you should be able to pick it up and preserve it and treasure it. Considering
I do have a picture from
not prehistoric North America.
The boneyard of piece that I found up there, if you guys want me to share it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Luke, that's interesting about the turkey being the Scots. Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Look at that hog.
Wow.
So that's a mammoth tusk right there I found.
I thought that was like a preserved eggplant from back in the day or something.
Yeah.
But it was a very a lot of fun. Yeah.
I love that. You were officially a boner.
A boner, yeah.
Official. Isn't that what he calls you guys? That's awesome. But Luke, I did this, I did a DNA test. I know I sent my
DNA
I did.
Me too.
And
I did it too.
We'll
have phones of us somewhere out there. It's fine.
They already have it. I looked it up. All my family members from different sides had already done it. We're cooked. It's fine. So I was like, whatever, I'll do it too. And so I had some Scottish DNA as well. But then there's this new app. What is it called? It's on my old phone that you can take a photo and without DNA, it will do an analysis and give you like an archaic analysis of what you are. And I had Scythian. Pop
Really?
up pretty high. Yeah. And then also Roman and, ancient Rome and Greek. And so I thought that was really interesting. But I also have, like, if you look at my DNA, my ancestors come from Germany, the UK, Scotland, Belgium area. So, in fact, Brown, my last name Brown is actually Braun. It was a German name. Yeah, the first guy to come over here was Stefan Christian Braun in 1732. He's buried in North Carolina, Luke. When I go out to see you, I want to go. Yeah, Rowan County.
Yeah.
And so I need to go pay some tribute. But yeah, thought that was interesting. You can actually take pictures of your face and it'll kind of tell you an idea of what maybe your archaic DNA is.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I wonder how long that will last.
Well,
when was the last time that?
Sorry, I was going to say.
When was the last time that you checked your DNA?
It updates. Yeah, it updates. I checked it recently and it changed quite a bit from what the first time I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Me too.
Have you guys ever noticed that you can look sometimes at people's faces and like everybody kind of fits into like these, I don't know, maybe like a dozen categories or something, but it's like, oh, this person is very similar to this person's face. Like all their features are very similar.
Dude,
I mean,
Luke,
that makes sense, but
I'm walking down this I can't remember what it's called. Mike will go there when you're in Japan, but there's this famous street in Shinkudo where I'm at. I think that's how you pronounce it. And where you get like cheap eats. And I saw your doppelganger yesterday, Luke. I almost begged him for a picture.
Oh, really?
He kind of walked away. Yeah, looked exactly like you. Had the mustache, actually had your facial structure. I was like, dude, was that Luke? It was nuts.
Might have been Schultz.
It might have been
Schultz. Yeah, Luke, that is like in Japan, this is like as homogenous as it gets, right?
Mm.
And even here, like you can kind of see what you were talking about there. So
yeah. It's like different categories of the way people will look. It's very, very interesting.
The thing is with that app, Mike, you said earlier, how long will that last? Yeah, there's going to be some controversy. It's going to get called like racist or
for sure.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
Well, there's a whole science based on that, and I can't remember what it's called. What that's called.
Oh, like the you're talking about like with skulls and like facial structures.
Facial structure. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's probably like legitimate. It got grouped into eugenics, is why it became so unpopular. But the actual analysis of skulls, they still do that, right? They still do that too, and analyze. And what are you laughing at, Luke?
I can't say.
we're walking on thin ice here
in the group chat.
Well,
I know.
I'm just here. Let me clarify because I was I don't want to. So what I'm saying is they still use that for crime scenes, for all kinds of ways to identify. I'm done.
Dude, what? Wait, I'm missing something. Where is it?
Luke's in the private chat right now. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna say it.
Sorry, Chad.
Yeah, you should.
There's secrets happening in the.
Luke said, of course the German brought up eugenics. Probably not me. Hey, I wasn't promoting it. I was just saying the reason that those skull studies ended up becoming controversial is because it got lumped in with that, but they still do that for crime scene analysis and everything like that.
You can't talk your way
bodies. You guys made it not weird thing weird.
It's just a piece of history.
Whatever,
okay?
give me the smoke. I want it. Come on.
Dude, okay, yeah. Moving on from that, Luke. Dude, can you play, please, the first like minute of your new video that you just dropped, Will?
Me?
On Greece?
Yeah, for sure. We can do that.
You already know what I want to show.
Yeah. Mike was making fun of me in the comments in my latest video. He got a bunch of likes too. Everybody agreed with him. So I made a new video on Greece just for context. And if I can, let me just exit out of like everything on my screen so I don't share something I don't want to share. Not that there'd be anything crazy, but I got emails open. 1 second. And so for context, I just dropped a new video. The AI is getting really good. And my last video was definitely my most violent video because it's Alexander the Great. And Alexander the Great, you know, was amazing in many ways, but like, don't get it twisted. The dude had like the wrath of Alexander was brutal. He would sack entire cities. No woman, child would be spared in some of these places. And so I depicted a lot of this. All right, so I'm going to share my screen.
Hey, while you're doing that, phrenology, that's what it was. Somebody in the chat here.
Phrenology? Yeah.
Yeah, Seth dropped it there. It's phrenology.
All right, cool. Let's see, who do we got on my subscribers list? I got my thing shared. Can you see that there, Sammy?
Yeah.
Nice. We got Jeff up north. Shout out to Jeff up north. Luke, Wandering Wolf, Cal, Dave Hell. Sweet. Okay. So here's the first.
Vibe coders, ready to build more?
We gotta cook on that ad revenue. Right?
This is the true story of Alexander the Great.
Can you hear that?
From the edge of the known world to the gates of India, he didn't just conquer kingdoms, he broke them. Armies shattered, cities burned, kings bent the knee or died. He led from the front, bled with his men. And when they reached the limits of the earth, he kept going, while using brand new cutting-edge AI imagery to imagine the scenes. Viewer discretion is advised.
Dude, pause it there.
Right,
so this is my point. Was this just like we probably just watched like 50 deaths with spears through the eyes, just a minute of hardcore violence. And then it's like viewer discretion advised.
Game of,
here's
almost like
Mike's
Game
comment.
of Thrones level.
Here's Mike's comment. He got 17 likes. Dude's getting brutally murked for 2 minutes. Then viewer discretion is advised. LOL. Here's the thing, though. You gotta hit him with. So anybody that's curious, by the way, if you don't mind me plugging, I know we're here to plug the tour, but I have a school community where I teach people how to make these AI videos. And one of my lessons is about teasing the crescendo right away. Like, boom, you got to hit him with it, right? Like not taking too much time. You got to, boom, hit him with it. And so if I just came off right away and was like, hey, guys, viewer discretion is advised, engagement plummets, you got to hit him with it. So
yeah.
Long last Name says, Will loves the neck shots. The thing is, that's probably where they were aiming, right? If you have armor, they're going to be aiming for the neck. In
My
fact,
favorite is
the conquistadors. The conquistadors in their chronicles constantly complained about it. They said the natives that's where they aimed. They were constantly getting neck shotted. So I do like the neck shots, but it's because that's actually what was happening.
The one I like the most is the eye poke because it's like he just straight up just ruined his eye. He didn't even follow through and stab his head and kill him. He's just like, here, let me maim you for the rest of your life and move on.
It was slow motion. We don't know what happened after that.
So they would go for the insides of the thighs and the feet as well. So you have this big ass shield. So like think about armor back in those days. The Greeks, they would have the cuirass on, where it would, it's basically like wearing a tank top, like a bronze tank top, right? And then you would have like this skirt underneath it. So they would go a lot of time. You'd have this huge circular shield that would cover most of your body, and you could move it up or down. And most of the time, you would just have your eyes and helmet shown. it would come down, and then like the insides, like your lower part of your legs and your feet would be showing. So if you're fighting with a sword or a spear, you'd go for the neck if the shield was low, or you'd go for the feet and the insides of the legs and try to cut those up.
Nice,
and then when it got to short, when it got to close quarters combat, you would try to get a guy to raise his shield up, and then you go down and slice out the inside of his leg so that he'd bleed to death.
They're specifically trained for that. Yeah. And then rebooting history says, I believe Alexander's dad, Philip, had one eye and wore a patch. Yes, that's true. I got some crap for this in the comments, but it didn't happen until way after Alexander was born. I think Alexander was actually at the battle where that happened. And so if you notice at the beginning, I have Philip young and he has normal eyes. And then when he gets assassinated, I didn't give him a patch, and maybe he had lost his eye. I probably got that part wrong, but you can tell if you go to the assassination part of my video, Philip has a scar down his eye. So I did put that in the video.
But where does it say that he had a patch?
I didn't see that. And so I used there's three main sources that like are historically, I guess, considered pretty accurate for this. I used the Anabasis, so Arion. Am I saying that correct, Luke?
Yeah. Arion,
yeah. And his is more just kind of straightforward. Like he doesn't tell. He gets into detail, but it's really about the battles and the movement. He doesn't talk a lot about Philip in the beginning days, but yeah.
What are your other sources?
What's the other one for Alexander? I can't remember. I just fully focused on what are the main sources for Alexander the Great. So that's considered widely the best one.
Ptolemy, he wrote an account of Alexander conquest. Oh, is it Plutarch? Yeah.
Oh no, you're correct, but also I was just saying Plutarch's the other one. He wrote Life of Alexander.
Yeah.
I've heard that one's interesting.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
Sorry, I was just gonna say, Plutarch lived 500 years or maybe 400 years after Alexander was alive. So he's using like Ptolemy's accounts. Like there's all this history between Plutarch and all the people that he's written about. So you can just imagine, like even then, what are the details that get lost?
Yeah. So Alexander the Great, our primary sources are actually secondary sources. They're just old enough that they're primary sources now. And one thing that kind of bothers me though is everyone likes to pretend that Alexander's general was his lover. I see no evidence of that anywhere in the sources. That is a Hollywood, I think that's a Hollywood liberal fantasy.
I was just going to say a few minutes ago, you talked about how brutal of a conqueror he was, and like other cultures, rather than calling him Alexander the Great, they called him Alexander the Destroyer. And he killed literally millions of people. And I'm like, I was just like, oh, like what a great person for you to co-opt for your modern political movement.
Right?
Goofy. That's the problem.
Where would they
with
even say that they got that from?
Because whenever his general died, he wept. He sent the whole army into mourning. He killed the physician. He had the physician executed, and he just was beyond himself upset about it. And I think there's maybe a couple other lines where people just go, wait a second, were these two gay together? And it's from there, Hollywood runs with it. And now it's almost parroted as the fact that Alexander had these gay lovers out there, because that would happen when you were an army going. But they also had female prostitutes following them the entire way as well. It's not like they were all, you know what I mean? So anyways, it's a crazy topic.
It could have just been his boy.
People vastly over sensationalized the Spartan boy lover thing and the pederasty that was going on. They think that was everybody. Really was not very common.
Right. And it was mainly in Athens, right?
No, I think pederasty Athens, but the boy lover army thing, that's Sparta.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'm sure it happened in other places, but like iconically, the they would. So Sparta, if anything, the reason that these institutions, these cultural norms develop is kind of out of necessity. So in Sparta, you would have the boys, they would leave home at maybe like age 7 or 9 or something
Right.
like that. And then until they were 20, I believe, they would be training to become a soldier. So you had all these stages you would have to go through. And and you were hardly allowed to go back home. I think even if you were married, you could only go visit your wife at night. It was like they had all these weird social norms. And so one of the things that they would do to, I guess that was accepted, was for boys to mess around with each other so that they could blow off steam rather than go get a girl pregnant, because Sparta for a long time was very, very poor. And so they couldn't afford people to just accidentally be having children, because if you were a family that couldn't afford a baby, you would be forced to leave your baby. You'd be forced to expose it. So you take it out to the wilderness and you sacrifice it back to the gods. If there was something wrong with your baby, you would expose it. If your family really needed a boy and you got a girl, you might expose it. So it's a cultural thing that was okay. But there were no Greeks that were like, at no point in ancient Greece were people looking at two grown men married and be like, "Hey, man, good for you." Like that didn't happen in ancient Greece. They believed that a grown man should marry a woman and they should have children to continue civilization. Right?
Right.
There is a source somewhere that maybe it's Aristotle or maybe it's Plato that. I don't want to go too far because it's been a while since I looked into this, but it's one of these sources that you get the gist that he thought it was weird for a grown man. For grown men to be seeking out young boys. That's the pederasty thing, where if you were an adult male, you could try to court a boy. So basically, he does you sexual favors. You give him political, economic, social favors in return. So he can become a successful politician, a successful aristocrat, if he does all these sexual favors for you and if he's your little boyfriend. Well, there were Greeks, a lot of Greeks, that looked at that and were like, just like anybody else would, that thought that was weird. So, you know, that whole thing is very like, it gets overplayed and people think it's more common than it really was. And then that gets thrown onto Alexander. But Alexander didn't have a lot to do with Athenian or Spartan culture. He lived very far away from that.
Also, it's one of the things that both the sources, both Plutarch and Arion, talked about, was that Alexander really from a young age showed no interest in worldly like desires. In fact, at one point, I think it's Arion, talks about how he viewed sexuality as a distraction. That was like, yeah, sometimes it occurs and you have to like deal with it or whatever, but he was focused on outdoing his father and doing what he ended up doing, right? He knew from a young age that he was destined to conquer the world. And so Arion talks about how he was very much not interested in worldly desires from like a young age, kind of viewed himself as a god even, and almost looked down upon that stuff. So when I read that, I was like, well, what's all this stuff about Alexander? Because, you know, you watch the movie with, what's his name? I can't remember the actor, but he had the Yeah. And it's like, well, where are they getting this? And you kind of look into it. There's like one line where he just has a lot of admiration for a general, and run wild with it.
Yeah, well, and there was a big thing of in ancient Greece. They talk a lot about brotherly love, like Spartan men loving each other, being in love with each other. Athenian men being in love with each other, but it's not the in love. Like, okay, a perfect example is I think that ancient Greek is a much more vast language and vocabulary than modern day English is. I'm pretty sure that
Greek, they had different words for different types of love.
Yeah, and so like one of the examples is, what we would call a pond, the ancient Greeks would have 5 more particular classifications for that. And it was their whole vocabulary is like that. So they have words that are like for the love that 2 men feel for each other. But where we would look at it and be like, that's gay.
Like they have agape, eros, philia, storge. Like storge is familial love. Philia is deep friendship, which would be like what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Eros would be romantic love, would be eros, and agape is like unconditional love.
Yeah.
I got so much love for my homies. Sorry.
Have you guys watched anything with Eamon Hillman? Yeah, right. That's his name.
Amon Hillman. A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. That just made me think of like the rants that he's gone on about just how rich ancient Greek as a language is. Yeah. He's like it's superior to all languages because of the amount of words that they have.
English, and many other languages as well. But yeah, there's so much that's lost in translation.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the richest language that we know of. I would say.
I will say I do think so. What I love about English now that I've like learned a little Spanish, learned a little bit of other languages around the world. We really do trim the fat. Like we're pretty efficient with our words in a way because we don't have all these other meanings behind, we really trim the fat and kind of stay like an 80-20, like 80% of your efforts give you 20% of your efforts give you 80% of your results or whatever.
Yeah.
We stick to our 20% of those words in our vocabulary pretty well in the English language. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. With our Japan trip coming up, I've been kind of trying to absorb a little bit of Japanese and have watched some kind of intro.
Ni hao.
Yes. One of 3 words I have down so far.
Wait, that's Chinese.
And just the fact that they have 3 separate alphabets that they use interchangeably constantly. That's crazy.
Yeah. Just a little for anybody doing the Japanese tour, arigato is kind of just like a quick thanks, but like if you really want to tell somebody thanks, you got to add the komesa. So arigato komesa. Yeah, that's what I've been saying to everyone. That's
you have
how
to
I
do it with that.
People.
You have to do it with that exact inflection as well at the end.
Arigato komesa.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what's funny about the Asian languages? The inflection, the up and down, that means something.
Mm-hmm.
It does, especially in Thailand. The tonnage in Thailand, kapungka versus kapungka, like they're different. Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's like I mean, it's kind of like when you get down into places like Peru and you're really trying to correctly pronounce some of these words down there.
Especially those Quechua words.
Yeah, those Quechua words can be really difficult. I
thought it was arigato gozaimasu. Gozaima. No?
Well, how do you say?
What were you saying?
Kosima.
Kosima.
Yeah.
I have not heard that one
yet. Bizarro.
Now we'll work on that with you, Will.
Yeah, no, it all sounds, the way they pronounce it here sounds different than the way that it's looked on screen or spelled. But
well, what do you guys?
I practice. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I don't.
We should pitch we should pitch the discount code for sure right now, right?
Well, I was going to ask you guys what y'all are.
Because that's a good deal.
Most excited about next. I was going to pull up the itinerary.
Hey, these spots fill up now.
Delphi for me. And I want to show a dope picture I found on Google Earth eventually of Delphi.
Can you see my Mouse?
Yeah, Delphi is gonna be so cool, man.
Yeah.
No.
Evening walk in the Plaka. That sounds gangster, man. Walking through the Plaka.
That temple of the temple of Apollo, man, I cannot wait to see that.
I'm really happy with this tour. So Trova really went to bat for me on building this out, and because this is not something offered. Trova does tours that are typically already in place, and they worked with me to do the custom tour to what these sites that we wanted to see, and so they really this is a really unique tour, especially through this company Trova, which I've been very happy with, and we actually will get to see quite a bit of amazing things here.
Screwdriver Tuning says Apollo Temple is really badass. Find a priest. Nice. Remember that. Luke, this is your first time going, right?
This will be my first time in Greece. This is, to be honest, bro, in the ancient world, this is like the last on my like the last one of the boxes I got to tick. I mean, I should go to Rome, but and hit some stuff in Italy, but I mean, Greece is like the last big box that I've got.
And you've always been a big fan of Greece, so I'm excited to see your first reaction to that. That's going to be awesome.
Sammy,
I've been there one time, but didn't spend much time at the actual sites.
Yeah. I'm most excited to see. I want to spend a little bit of extra time in Athens. There's even stuff in the city, like as you come down off of the Acropolis, there's stuff around the city to see, and I want to go try to find some of those Easter eggs. I really am looking forward to seeing Mycenae and Delphi. Those are my three big ones. But Corinth is going to be really cool. We're going to get to go sit in the theater where Paul was speaking to the Corinthians.
Wow, I did not realize that. Are you serious?
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
One of the few. Not one of the few places, but I mean, it's one of the few places where you can track down a specific location from the Bible and stand there.
Man, my dad is like super into Paul. Dad, if you're watching this right now, you should go to Greece with us. Buy a ticket; it'd be fun. I might pitch that, try to get another ticket sold for us, because my dad would probably get a kick out of that. I don't know if he's ever left the country.
My dad's coming on the Egypt tour. That's going to be really cool.
Nice.
Oh. So we're doing this. This only lasts till Thursday. So if you're watching and you're on the fence and you're wanting to save some money, this is a discount sale that the tour company does apparently once a year and gave us the option to do. So this is through the company. And they'll be running a sale for all tours, basically, that they host for everyone at varying discount levels. So we're doing $200 off through Trova with that code TrovaVeres 200 until 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. You can enter that code in and get $200 off. So if you're on the fence about it and you're thinking about going, grab your tickets before Thursday and save some money.
And
we already got a good crew signed up.
We already have like a solid price for this. All three of us, I can attest, when we first got together, we all agreed, like, we just want to price this as low as we can, where it still makes sense for us. And for ancient Greece, that price is pretty good. Now you get $200 off.
Yeah, it's sick. Yeah.
Will, have you been?
Yep, I've been to Athens and the island of Paros, and Paros is where I actually saw my first ancient Greek ruins. Some people don't like when you call them ruins, but they're ruins by the definition. And that was cool, because that was a site that no one goes to. It was just on the side of the road. I didn't even know it was going to be there. I'm walking I was a backpacker back then, and I go, dude, those are Greek ruins. I go up, there's like a little sign. And then when I got back to Athens, I went and checked some stuff out, but didn't go to the Acropolis. Tried 2 times to get to the Acropolis, and each time the taxi driver, we were stuck in traffic. The taxi driver's like, dude, get out of my car. I'm not waiting any longer. So I got kicked out of 2 taxis trying to go to the Acropolis. I'm like, don't go during like rush hour during the summertime. So
No.
That's crazy.
So you're the only one out of the 4 of us that will be going. That's
yeah,
pretty
and
cool.
we got a good guide that's going to be there with us. You know, I'm really looking forward to the museums as well. Some of the museums.
Well,
but
at
actually,
the museum, the first museum, that's where we're going to see the Antikythera mechanism.
Oh, very nice. That's very nice.
Yeah, we're going to
that'll
talk
be special.
about that. We put that in the title.
By the way, you guys want to see Delphi? I have a pretty sick Google Earth shot I found. Or do you want to switch to the mechanism? How do you even say that, Luke?
The Antikythera mechanism.
Antikythera mechanism. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Yeah.
Check out this site at Delphi right here. Let it load for a minute. Okay, so you got the theater, you got the mountains in the background. Oh my goodness. I am looking forward to this. I imagine it being like a nice little brisk morning, and I am just caffeinated out of my mind. I'm 2 coffees deep, and I'm just like in awe. And then I look over here, the sun is starting to illuminate the mountains behind.
Insane.
Boom.
Can we
This is
fly a
what I'm
drone
looking
over there?
forward to.
Do you know?
Maybe you just
Look it
ask
up.
for forgiveness before you ask for permission. Always ask forgiveness before
As long
asking
as
for
we wouldn't
permission.
get
Well,
arrested like
maybe
we
not
would
all-
in
yeah,
Egypt.
that's true. That's actually bad advice that I gave here. You might not be able to ask.
That is
for
the
forgiveness.
right advice, though.
They might just put your ass in jail.
So if
It
it's
depends.
under
It depends.
250 grams, it has less
Nice.
restrictions.
Yeah.
So that's why
The
I've
mini.
always been a big fan of the minis. They work fantastic. I honestly don't know why anyone wants the big ones anymore. The minis work great.
So if it's under 250 grams, so the mini is 249
You still have to
grams.
register, but there's no like certificates and different stuff needed.
Okay.
Strict controls exist of
Fabulous.
archaeological sites, airports, and military zones.
I have my license. I'm an official drone pilot, so I
How
got
does one
I
become
felt-
that, and why would you? What
You
is
just
the
tell me.
why?
for commercial purposes. I was writing a book and I used a lot of drone photography, and technically I needed it. I don't think they would do anything, but I
Does
failed
it
my
give you
first
more
test.
access?
I just went.
No.
No, it just covers you. Anyways, I failed my first test because I didn't study at all. I was like, oh wow, this is like a legit, like, you know, you basically take like the first half of an airline pilot's test, which is like how to read basically an aeronautical map. Completely failed it. Second time I passed it. So
Yeah. I would think that the only place we could get a decent shot would be in Athens. Because you can just send it up in the city and then you can
yeah, but
fly.
that's where it becomes even more shady though, because you have airspace there in those big cities that, you know, you don't want to screw around with.
Well, DJI has a GPS that won't even allow it to take off in restricted.
Yeah, that's true.
You can
These days,
bypass it, but
it's best
Yeah,
not to,
I would
honestly.
want to. That's probably one of those things I really wouldn't play with.
I'll tell you guys something off screen that was really shady that I did one time that I didn't mean to do at a site that I realized later was right next to a major airport, to the point where I took the video down. I didn't know, but anyways, yeah.
well, it sounds like you just told us.
No, I don't. They don't got the detail. There's not enough
Okay.
data. And I don't know how. Maybe I was just outside the zone. It was probably legal. It was probably fine.
I don't know if y'all have ever seen my drone footage of China, but that I flew the drone everywhere in China.
Yeah, that was risky.
No, people came over and were like, "Oh, well, this is so cool. What are you looking at?" Never had any problems. Guards saw us doing it at places. And now all of that gets stolen and reused.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's see.
Tom says, imagine Plato stood there and Socrates, Aristotle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
This might be.
Did Socrates get around like that?
I don't know.
Did Socrates? I mean, there's no. I'm looking at.
It was Aristotle is who trained Alexander, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. First note that Socrates himself, it is not known if he ever visited Delphi. Yeah. But I know Plato did.
Oh, sick, dude. Yeah, Delphi is going to be nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It's so pretty. That looks like it's from Skyrim or something. Like this whole area just does not look real.
Really
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Just imagine
whenever
what this was like back in the day.
I know. Seriously. Or just the ethos of their mind.
Why can't we have time travel?
Well, and to think that, you know, we look at it and we think about, oh, you know, these are ruins. Like, it's so cool. This really could have been there. But then, like get over that mental hump and think, like, no. This actually was a city. There actually were thousands of people walking around. These buildings were actually freshly painted and brand new at one point, and people were just walking around here. There was no other cities that you go back to. This was the city. There wasn't anything else outside of this other than the next big city. You're standing in the center.
Yeah, exactly. You're here now. So you are where they were. Like, you can, and it's actually pretty easy to visualize. Like if you just stop your mind for a second and Sacsayhuaman was the biggest trip for me. When you get that macro point of view, when you go up the other hill and you go, oh yeah, oh no, this place was busted.
Will, when you'd already been to Sacsayhuaman when we went?
Nope, first time.
Really?
Yeah.
Sacsayhuaman was the site that changed everything for me. That was the site that I went to that was the first ancient site I ever went to.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it changed. That was where I just, in that moment, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want to see every site in the world like this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it started for me.
Speaking of, we got these Cyclopean walls here. Very cool. But I was going to say Aristotle, when he was training, he had a huge impact on Alexander, apparently. Like Alexander deeply admired him. They say Alexander was like genius level, like very, very smart, but that he recognized that Aristotle was far smarter and he respected that. And so Alexander would collect he'd collect skins, animals, and plants just to bring back to Aristotle. Like it was like he was fetching him new data to his old friend, his old teacher. He had a great deal of respect for him.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's crazy that lineage of Socrates to Plato to Aristotle, and then Philip basically just conquers all of Greece and then says, you're going to teach my son everything that you know. And then he forces Aristotle. I mean, probably Aristotle got a lot of benefits from it, whether or not he wanted to leave Athens or not. But you know, he had to come up to, I mean, he left Athens and went to Macedonia, right? I mean,
he went to Macedonia. I think from what I understand, Alexander spent most of his time in Macedonia still. Like once he starts running stuff, he goes around and makes sure to, he's suppressing rebellions and he's traveling then. But in the early days, he's in Macedonia.
You know what's crazy is, I don't think, people don't realize he's what, 23 years old when he leaves Greece to take on Persia, and he never comes back to Greece. Never.
No, never came back. You know, he was marrying people along the way as like, you know, just a bond for the loyalty of like the nations he was conquering.
Yeah.
Never saw them again. But you know, I had a guy in my comments go, Alexander didn't accomplish anything, died lonely without children at the age of 33. And I just replied back, I go, whatever makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Like,
Conquer more than you, bro.
33 years old, and he conquered, you know,
What a delusional thing to say.
The edge of his conquest was Egypt to the south, and I guess Arabia to the south, and then India to the east. You know, whatever makes you feel better, buddy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Not insane.
Sick.
That's so cool. Oh my God, I want to do this. I'm so excited. I finally get to bring my drone somewhere.
It's gonna be so cool.
Well, bring it
Tom Kuzik says 15 years of seizing life by the balls. Yeah, that's one way to describe Alexander.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a very, you know, I think a lot of guys, do you want to leave a mark? Would you rather leave a mark and have a short life? Or do you want to grow old and die in bed or have your name written in history's books forever?
Exactly.
I think you get to a certain age, and depending on what you've got going on in your life, those are real questions, you know. And I it's clearly something that, you know, this idea of in Greek culture of what you were going to do with your life was obviously something they thought about at a much younger age.
Yeah.
They did.
You had pathways too that you stuck with, right? So, I mean, obviously, Alexander was born into a position to be able to do what he did that somebody else wouldn't have been able to. But, you know, you lived in a time where you had you know, the opportunity for glory, if you will, existed, in a culture that celebrated it.
And you know what? Like, so on that note, because what I should have replied to that guy is, that's why no one will remember your name.
No one will remember your name.
But here's the other thing. You can say, oh, Alexander was a monster. He killed millions of people. Okay. Back then, and to be honest, it's the same thing now. At that level of power, it's conquer or be conquered. Like, it's either I do this or they're going to do it to my people.
Right.
That's how it was. It was cutthroat. And even today, it's kind of probably still like that, like a little bit. And
we just pretend like it isn't on the news. You know civilization is a zero-sum game. Two people aren't winning at the same time. One's winning and one's losing. It'll always be that way. Always has been.
Exactly. And so, you know, I am very idealistic. I am like so anti-war, but then I also have this side of me when I read this stuff where I'm like, oh, it's a different ballgame at that level. Even today, there's shit that I don't understand in the world for when it comes to, like, if you're not, you know, they say the whole peace by power thing.
Yeah.
For your civilization, for your people, there's probably some truth to that. If you're on the side of the power, you know, all hell can break loose real quickly. World War II was not long ago, and it was it's the single deadliest event in human history, right? So we're living in this peacetime, but like by peacetime, I mean like 80 years, right? Hardly anything, but peacetime in the American homeland. And it's really easy to forget that, like, it's dog eat dog world still out there, you know? Like, so. And so my point on that is, you can call Alexander a monster, but like, him being a monster prevented other monsters from killing his people. It's so screwed up, but that's the truth.
Yeah. That's how it goes, man. It will always be that way, unfortunately. Whether or not, you know, we just get good at pretending it isn't that way.
Exactly.
Or that it will stop being that way at some point of evolution.
like with people talk about Cortez and the Spanish. If Cortez and the Spanish don't do that, the Portuguese do, and the Portuguese are the guys calling the shots for the next 300 years in Europe, right? And so,
And if nobody in Europe, it would have been the Chinese.
right, it eventually within 100 years, maybe less, right? Like it would have been, yeah.
That's for sure.
Totally.
That's Delphi.
Dude, that's
That'd be
sick.
so cool, bro.
That's ridiculous.
I am so excited to see that place. It's going to be so surreal.
We're
That's what
going.
I'm missing.
We hope some of you guys will come with us.
Yes.
This is going to be sick. We've already got a good group.
Yep.
And they actually let us have a big space on this one. So we actually have 40 spots. So it's about,
Crap.
I don't know, we're close to a quarter of the space filled right now.
Yep.
It's
good.
And so there's still room.
Tell your friends, tell your family, bring your
Tell
mom.
your friends, tell your family. This would be amazing. This is going to be amazing. I can't believe I haven't been to Greece. The two main places in the world that I haven't been are Greece and India.
Yeah.
But we're knocking off. We may be knocking out Ethiopia this year too.
That'll be sick.
So
we're going to climb up to the.
We're doing Japan and all these ancient sites in Japan, and we're working on. We may be going to Rwanda and then hopping over to Ethiopia and doing the rock-hewn churches there.
That's gonna be cool.
And then we've got Greece, and then I think we will probably stay over in Europe an extra week and maybe hit somewhere, hit something else while we're over there too.
Well, where would you go?
Sammy's thrown out Croatia.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been
sick.
to Portugal.
Yeah.
Macedonia would be awesome.
Macedonia.
Yeah, it would be.
Turkey. There's parts of Turkey I haven't done the coast of Turkey.
Hey, that might be worth doing a tour at some point, to be honest. I mean, you've got Ephesus and Troy. Those are two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turkey would be sick.
Sure.
Let's see. Greek sites on the Turkish coast. Let's see.
I've done Darren Kuyu. I've done Göbekli Tepe and all that, but not
Dude,
the coast.
Is in Albania.
You've got Ephesus, Troy, Pergamon, Olympos, and Halicarnassus, just to name 5.
Halicarnassus. Yeah, I think I mispronounced that incorrectly in my.
They think that the library of Pergamum, if you look at the facade of it, I think that there's a Roman source that alludes to the idea that library is actually based on the facade of Alexandria's library. It's very much inspired by it, if not like a copy of it.
Whoa! Look at that. That is incredible, right there.
That's the gate of Mycenae. Yeah.
Nice. That's sick.
Yeah. So we are. Josh, the ancient up in here. What's up, man?
What up, Josh?
I'm gonna try to get out there. Lake Van, in Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to.
We should go somewhere obscure. We should go somewhere really random that no one has heard of.
Yeah, if you guys come join us on these trips, we're gonna try to do this every year. Do a cool trip every year for you guys. And Turkey would be great. Turkey would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm down to do that.
I've always wanted to go to Turkey.
We complete the Greek tour.
There you go. And Turkey's way less expensive. We could get a really good deal for Turkey.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything's settled down over that way by then.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I don't even want to get into it, but I can't believe, like I've been to all over Lebanon and all the places that they're kind of bombing and stuff right now is just like breaking my heart to see. Obviously, for multiple reasons, the people and horrible things that are happening over there, but it's, you know, as a side effect of all that, you know, they're completely they're going in and shape charging entire cities and villages and just detonating them. They're not even bombing them. They're flattening entire areas and sites and just raising it all to the ground.
Yeah, it's pretty
Pure evil.
Pretty terrible. God, how awful would it be if Baalbek got struck?
So they did. They I don't know if Baalbek got struck directly, but they were dropping bombs right over there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that in general, people take care to not blow up historical sites. I mean, even Germany in the 1940s tried to not blow up historical sites. So
I think they're trying to.
Yeah,
I think that's their goal.
Well,
erase history.
Erasing history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, speaking of Cambodia and Thailand, still kind of hot on the border there, off and on.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go check those sites out too. That's actually always been on my list, and all of a sudden I see dudes with guns shooting at the sites. Like, I don't know if you've seen some of those videos.
That's so insane to me.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude. While you're over there, you got to get over to Angkor Wat.
I've been there.
Oh, you have?
Quick, yeah. So I had dysentery when I was in Cambodia. I got it the day I left in Thailand, and was like, "Oh, this isn't good." But made my way to Cambodia, and it just got worse. And on day 10 of that, I finally felt a little better.
10 days?
And it was bad. So then I went to Angkor Wat for so you're right. I do need to go back because I went for 2 hours and then didn't feel great and went back.
Bro, Cambodia is the only place that I've ever been where I was where I was overloaded with too much ancient stuff.
Yeah,
it was 12 plus hours a day you could spend walking around the country and not see everything.
Yeah.
And I eventually, after 7 days of that, I was like, yo, I need a break. I need a day off.
Yeah.
Did I tell you the story of the baby bathwater food?
No.
We were going to a site. We pulled over. It was a thunderstorm. It was lightning really bad. We get under this shack roof. There's all these cots under there. And it's straight up a shack, dirt floor. There's crabs crawling around on the ground. And we order a plate of noodles and they cook them up right there. And they're amazing. It's the best food I've ever had. And we had watched, the lady had taken everything and washed it in this tub in the back. And never thought anything of it. Ate all the food. It was delicious. It was so good. I ordered another plate. And then I looked back there in the tub that they were cleaning all the food in. There was this little naked boy running around. He was in the tub being washed, and they just rinsed it out. Took him out of the tub, rinsed it out, washed the food. little naked boy with his little peen just out everywhere, running around, playing with crabs. And I was just oh my God, dude, we are for sure gonna get sick. I didn't get sick.
Oh man, stomach of gold right there. God,
bro. Well, I used to travel with my cousin, and he gets sick every trip we take.
Yeah.
And I drink the water when I travel and eat food.
You should be a. I don't even want to say this. You should be a poop plant donor. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, the transplant, the
transplant donor.
Fecal transplant.
Fecal transplant donor.
Yeah, you got that good gut bacteria.
Yeah, I got that gut biome is amazing.
It's not ancient, but it's such a fascinating culture. And one of my favorite sites I've ever been to is Sukhothai Historical Park, in between Chiang Mai and Bangkok, out in kind of the middle. That whole culture, the Sukhothai culture of Thailand, man, some of the sites they had, some of those cities, those would have been a trip to live in.
Mhm.
I always wonder if people do why Thailand's never a tour. Maybe it's because it's pretty easy and established to travel in. It's not exactly ancient, but it's old. Like I mean,
What
those
is
are what is
what is this place? Meteora? Meteora?
Whoa,
sick.
That is
that's
cool. Let me look
cool.
When you look at the Greek landscape and the mountains of that area, it's like no wonder they had all these legends and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Wow,
Some
that
good
is
rock
very cool.
formations. Love me some rock formations.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Looks like something.
$200 off.
Looks like something you see in Asia.
Exactly. $200 off for the next day and a half, right?
It looks like something you see in
Join us in Greece.
Avatar. That looks
Till
like James
Thursday.
Cameron shit.
Gosh, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's-
when you look at that, it's no wonder that like such a beautiful, rich language and culture came out of that world.
Seriously.
It's just such a beautiful environment, beautiful seas, amazing geography. It's just so cool. You can imagine like, primordial times of the earliest Greeks, like early Bronze Age, and those guys just figuring their world out, wandering around these places and exploring them, and just fascinating.
Yeah. I grew up in Western Kansas, which is about as like pretty flat and barren as it gets. We got the Arkansas River that runs through. And there's many things that I actually really like about the Kansas landscape, believe it or not, but I appreciate living that first 18 years of my life like that because anytime I'd go to nearby Colorado, it was just like, oh my God, this is right by me.
Mhm.
Right. So anytime I see a landscape, I really take time to appreciate it because I was looking at dirt.
Maybe that's what
first.
gave you that. Maybe that's what gave you that explorer, traveler spirit.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe. I think
wanting
so.
to go out and see the world, and
Yeah. I was a high plains kid. So, that's
Think you'll
actually
ever-
where
whenever-
you ever go back to the plains?
If I ever move back to Kansas, it'll be the woodland part, so east side. But Western Kansas will always be home to me. That's the plains.
Yeah,
And that's actually, that childhood's what brought me into the exploration. That's where all the explorers, they traveled right through that Arkansas River area that I grew up in. Dodge City. Dodge City is really close to me. All those cowboys, all those people heading west to make a name for themselves, gold prospectors, they traveled all the way through. So there's a lot of stories.
That's so cool. And whenever growing up in Tucson, whenever we had students transfer from like the Midwest, it was just absolute like in awe of the mountains around there.
Yeah. Oh, Arizona blows my mind for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, I did grow up in Western Kansas, so I had easy access to Colorado. But so, it's not like it was completely foreign to me, but I always appreciated it. So, you travel where I'm from. I was 14 miles from the Colorado border. I actually grew up on Mountain Time. We're one of the few Kansas little towns on Mountain Time. And you drive about 2 hours west and you can see the mountains. Another hour and you're getting into the mountains. So it's a cool childhood.
Well, guys, let's put that flyer back up and show people what we got going on one last time here.
Rebooting history. Yep, I'm a High Plains drifter.
Okay, but first, we must celebrate.
Boom! 100K.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, reaching 100K, he did it.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Wait.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
YouTube
badass.
is-
So deserved.
Speech.
Thank you.
Speech.
Yeah, so I started my YouTube channel 5 years ago. I kind of started the quest for it 6 years ago during COVID, and it's made a major pivot over the last years. So thanks to all the OGs that stuck around and are enjoying the AI content that I've been creating with some of the latest evolution there, but then also thanks to the new subscribers. And I'm trying to do big things with this. So appreciate y'all. Thank you. When it makes fat peeps rise up out of the mud.
Is that your cousin?
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good. Get it out the mud.
Well, congrats, bro. You know, man, so
Thank
many
you.
people try to start a YouTube channel and will never come close to 100K. And
I appreciate that.
To a lot of people, it's a million subscribers, you know, and you know you've climbed a huge mountain. You know, everything beyond this point is just like it's a blessing, you know.
Appreciate you, Luke. I don't know. I don't know where they're gonna send that.
You ain't getting it, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're done doing that. YouTube doesn't do that. They just send out like a gift card.
Yeah, Luke and
$25
me had that conversation and it reminded me, yeah, 100K is a big deal. At first I was like, I don't even know if I'll say anything. I just want to keep going. I got big goals. And you're like, no, dude, this is the big goal. Like you gotta, I was like, you're right. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so
you gotta
Luke,
stop
Mike,
and celebrate your accomplishments.
Yeah. And I don't know if people know this behind the scenes, but like Luke and Mike, we're all boys. So like
clearly.
We're homies. We're homies. And so I appreciate you guys for the support. It's nice to have friends that have the same goals and interests and are in the same field.
Yeah, dude, congrats, man. It's really deserved, and what you're doing with the AI stuff is not like what anybody else is doing right now. I love it.
No, it's really amazing, and the amount that it's improved in the last like a year or so, it's just crazy.
Dude, the last month has been like blowing my mind. But I appreciate that. And Mike, you're next, brother. I think you're closing in on 80K right now. So that's what we need to do. To celebrate my 100K, everybody make sure, I'm sure we're on your channel, but if you haven't subscribed to Wandering Wolf, make sure you do.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Go over that.
Yeah, what are you even doing?
Hey guys, make sure you go subscribe to Wandering Wolf.
Yeah. If you're not, what are you doing?
I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah, what are you even doing here? I think we're dialing in on the travel aspect really tight.
Dude, your latest videos, very nice.
Yep.
That's this lady right here.
I was telling Mike when I started the AI, I had 30,000 followers when I started the AI videos, and in my mind I go, okay, 0 subscribers because I'm doing something completely different, right?
Yeah.
So 0 subscribers, and in reality, a big chunk of my former subscribers still stuck on board. But pretty soon, Mike, you're going to see those numbers go up because I love your videos. Good job,
I think
Sammi.
we're changing it a little bit, but we're going to be focusing in on just the travel aspect because that's all it, like our the content is all just on location. So, and
that's how you really started the channel too. So it's kind of getting back to like your roots a bit and just expanding and not limiting to just the like megalithic sites, which will be like an emphasis still on ancient sites, but be some other things mixed in there, which is exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't been paying attention, Luke, you've been crushing the circuit.
Yeah,
man. Dude.
Yeah, Luke's going mainstream this year.
Dude. Like
I feel it.
Your sit down with Andrew was great, dude. You guys,
that was good.
This is so good.
I enjoyed that more than the Rogan episode. You just were so like you so what's the word for it? You had so much aura during the Schultz episode. Not the glazy.
Or is such a good word.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
and,
3.5 hours.
You also mogged those guys. Like they were talking about like the mustaches. Yours was better. You mogged those guys. for
yeah,
sure.
I wish
No
I
offense to
wish
them.
that you had known what he was
Yeah,
wearing
dude.
beforehand and worn what he was wearing. That would have been incredible.
Oh, that would have been so funny. But yeah, that was great. That was a great conversation, man. I feel like after Rogan, it's a good thing. I don't really get like nervous for anything anymore. You know, it just kind of, Rogan was a good teaching moment in that I realized like going on a show that big doesn't make your career. It could break your career. It doesn't make your career. You still have to work all the time, and you're still gonna have bad months, you know. And now I just kind of, now I'm kind of at the point where like there's just a couple other shows that I'd like to do, and then after that, I've basically got my circle of shows that I'd like to appear on. You know, I'm spoilers. I'm going on Y-Files next week.
Sick.
Dude, that's sick.
Yeah,
That's that's pretty big. That is huge.
Yeah.
What's cool about that is it's a new venture for him. Like it's this huge platform, and he's new to the podcast game, right?
Yeah, I think I'll be like the 5th episode or the 6th episode or something, something like that.
Yeah, I didn't even know that he was doing that, and then I started to see all the drama on Twitter, and I was like, "Wait, what are we talking
There was
about?
drama?
Y-Files guests."
Yeah.
Have you not seen Ashton Forbes going after him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, whatever. But anywho, yeah. So I'm gonna go hang out with AJ this time next week, and we'll do a good conversation. I'm excited to go on that one, and then
I'm excited for that one too. That one's like feels extra. That one feels extra exciting.
Yeah, and then after that, I just don't feel like there's any other podcast that I need to go on. Everyone that I've been on, I liked them. I basically checked all the podcast boxes off, and I'll go back and visit them if they ever invite me on. But now it's kind of like, okay, I've realized that all these podcast appearances I've done, none of them really like made me, right? That it was good.
Your hard work made you.
Gave me a little bit of a boost. But now I can actually see, sitting right here at this desk and making the videos is the important part. None of the other stuff even comes slightly close to that. Even going on Rogan doesn't come slightly close. Not even like a percentage to the importance of just doing the work, and learning that lesson early on was probably really good.
Yeah, for sure. Like now you can focus once you get this Y-Files podcast under your belt. It's time to grind with these projects you got coming up. I can't wait for you to, and I'm not going to say anything. All I'm going to say is Luke has some crazy cool stuff that's about to happen in his YouTube world and his brand and what he's going to be working on in 2026. It's going to be a big year for Luke. So look forward to that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. We can celebrate in Greece.
Yeah.
There you go.
All of us are going up this year.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Dude, I actually feel that way, Will, about you. I think that this whole AI thing, you being like right out on, like you're on the spear tip of it, it's going to explode at some point, and you're going to be right out there in front. And I can't even predict what's going to happen, but we're going to watch Will like
100%. We were talking about that the other day, and I was like, you're already doing it. So when this really blows up and takes off, you're going to have this massive library of content that already exists that is just like this foundational thing that, is, I'm here doing it. Oh, and also I've got like 200 freaking videos out as opposed to this channel that just started and has 20,
Yeah. I appreciate that.
It's so good that you're grinding right now the way you are with the level of commitment that you've got to putting this content out. And that's like you said, Luke, that's what it's all about. And I think you know, just sitting down, doing the work, and just making sure, tuning out all the other distractions. Because I feel like for me, I feel like 2025 was a year of distractions for me.
Same.
And 2026 is about getting back in and dialing in to the work, right?
Yeah.
And that being what,
Yeah,
what
Will,
goes
Mike is
on.
very inspired by your ability to set boundaries and
Yeah, 100%.
What do you mean by
just saying no.
what do you mean by boundary?
You're just able
no,
to you say no to things sometimes, that like things come my way and I say yes to stuff because I'm like, oh, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Instead of recognizing that, yeah, it's a good thing, but it's not good for me right now.
Yeah, I'm really big right now on I have 3 things that I'm trying to spend the next 1,000 days on, no matter what. And so that's my Facebook, my YouTube, and my school community. And so I've been trying to, it's not that I want to say no, but I've been saying no more often, because like, I think if I focus on that for 1,000 days, like that's a little over 3 years, right? Wait, no, that's just under 3 years. I'm tripping, but that'll, it'll be interesting to see where things can go. Like I'm big on, instead of goal setting, just being like, no, I'm doing the things that work for me every single day for 1,000 days. So that's what my main focus has been lately. So,
yeah, just putting your head down and getting the work done, man. It's tough, and like you really learn what the word grind means. And I feel like right now, the last 5 months, I've been in the grind, and it's a sacrifice, man. Like it's golly, sometimes you wake up and you're like, man, I have done the same thing every day for like 3 months in a row. Yeah,
12 hours a day.
People have no idea how much of a grind it is and how not glamorous the whole thing is. But it's a lot of. I was talking to my buddy earlier. I was like, if you compare what I get paid on an hourly basis compared to what most YouTubers get paid, I'm way down here. Like the amount of work that goes into my videos before I even start writing it is crazy. And then I have to write it and build the narrative and then film it. And then I've got to edit it all. And a lot of times the edit is done, or the writing is done on a Wednesday. I wake up at 7 a.m. on Thursday, and I work from 7 a.m. until about 9 or 10 a.m. on Friday, and the video comes out at 11.
Yep. I've watched you do it.
Extremely.
It's if you took the work and then you broke down the pay per whatever, and then you put that in like a job offer and send it to somebody, they'd be like, no, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Well, I actually spend more. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the upside is sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say the upside is you get to work whenever you want, but that really means you have to work all the time. And sometimes when things are going really well, like last year, I had this. I was just like burned out, and I needed to. I just needed a break for a minute. So I didn't work for like 3 weeks, and it didn't change anything. Like my income didn't change. If I didn't show up to work, it didn't change.
Yeah,
not always like that, but sometimes you just get to like you do all that work, and then sometimes you get much needed breaks.
Yep. In the comments right there, Mr. All said, and then some jerk off watches 2 minutes and leaves a toxic comment, which is fine. Like, I love it. But yeah, I actually spend way more time working with these AI videos than before.
They hurt my feelings.
A lot of people think that the AI content is just like automated. No, like a 30-minute video will take me 2 weeks sometimes. And if you want to do it right, if I wanted to turn out,
but you're doing it right, which is why they're good.
Right. You could make a slop, right? And I'm not saying I'm not guilty of slop on occasion, but you could do it. But if you want to do it correctly, you gotta really actually do shot by shot by shot, and it takes a long time, and it's expensive. It's expensive to make. So I get some haters every now and then that are like, you didn't make this, AI made it. I'm like, okay, well, you should do it too. It's been a nice gig. You should also do it. But no, it's funny. We can work whenever we want. But as I've gotten to the point where I know exactly what I need to do every day, I find myself going back to starting at 7 a.m. and ending around 5 or 6 p.m., just like I would with like a normal job. So it's funny how that works.
Yeah, no, it's just like that. You know, the other thing that gets under my skin about you know, like comments or you know, people's perception is if you do a sponsorship, people will be like, oh, I gotta watch ads and I gotta watch sponsors, blah blah blah. I'm like, is this video being free not already good enough? I didn't charge you anything for you to watch this video, okay? Let me pay my bills so I can keep making YouTube videos.
I had someone say in one of my videos, because I said like 2 or 3 minutes in after the intro, I said, if you guys like the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. That really helps me out, helps the channel grow and keep making content. It was that quick. And they're like, oh, plug and subscribe and blah, blah, blah. I'm out, never watching your content again. I was like, this is, I don't know, like a year and a half ago. It's like, yeah, okay.
How do you watch it? You like, what are you watching? That's like so commonplace. I've never seen a YouTube video where it 2 or 3 minutes in, the person isn't like and subscribe. How like?
And we don't do that anymore. We just pull it up on the screen as a graphic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Good riddance to those people. You know, I'm not saying that I don't want to make my subscribers happy. I do. I want to make content that they want to watch, right? But like when I started doing better was when I started making content I wanted to make that I knew was also going to be good. And, you know, people maybe didn't like it at the beginning, but whatever, like it's okay. We can go separate ways. It's not the end of the world. It's not illegal for you not to like my content, and it's fine. Just build the community you want to build.
They're so clearly not creatives because only I think not only, but if you're a creative, you know what it takes to actually make it. And I think like what I was going to say earlier, like that level of grind and being able to be that consistent and stick through it and stick through the low views and like just keep doing it because you see the vision and you believe in yourself and you trust yourself. Like that's the difference between someone that's successful and someone that gives up and then has to go back or stick with a job that they hate. Like it's, you know, can be 5-10 years of really like sacrificing all of your free time, all of your mental bandwidth, like to be able to work from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
And if anybody wants to do this stuff, you should start. Like that's the cool thing about this is like I'm not saying anyone can do it, but if you think you can do it, you should do it because it doesn't require permission. You know, it doesn't require permission. I wouldn't quit your day job. That's what really helped me is I never quit my original day job until recently, once it started getting some serious momentum. But for those first 4 years, I had a day job. I was a teacher. And then I just got better and better. I figured out what works and what didn't work. And then before you know it, you know, you're a YouTuber or whatever. So there's a million topics to talk about. It's not oversaturated. There's
it's easy too. So when you first start out, like you have a vision of what you want to be creating. And I feel like people often get a little too ahead of themselves and think like, this is what I want to create. And then they create it to be this large thing in their heads. Then they never really start, or they start and then realize like, wow, what is it called? The skill gap or like the quality gap, you know, between what I'm making versus what I want to be making is so big that it really makes people just like feel down on themselves. Whereas like the goal should really just be learn every day, show up every day. Like you don't know what your end goal is actually going to be because as you learn as you go, and then you realize, wait, I actually like doing this, or I'm actually really good at doing this. And I didn't even know that this was a thing. So it's like really the goal should just be like, I just want to learn this new skill and see where it takes me. And
Mr. Beast, you know, a lot of people hate on him, but he gives free advice, and it's really good on exactly what you just said, Sammy. Like his whole thing is go make 100 videos, and then like the goal is each video gets better than the rest, and then from there we can talk. So
Yeah, it's 100% true.
well, I think my time is up in the booth.
We're an hour. We went over what we thought we were doing. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, man.
40
Thanks so much
minutes.
for inviting us, dude. I love these conversations.
Me too.
Me too.
I'm looking forward to Greece, and we'll see. Hopefully, some people jump on with us. I think we've got a good crew, and I think it's going to get better. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, boys, I'm going to go make myself a very late dinner and continue this grind we've been talking about.
Get
All right, see you guys.
All right, man.
All right.
Thank you so much
See
for
everybody.
inviting me, and we'll do this again.
Bye, everyone.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks, Sammy. See you, Luke.
See you guys.
Guys. Oh, am I ending the stream?
Bye.
Bye.